what's with all this heavy duty equipment? Well, I told you one day I was going to elaborate more. I was going to tell you why the name Stick Dude. About, I would say about a very 100 years back, definitely, there would have probably been only, what, 1-2% of populace using these golf sticks, in case you don't know what they are. 40 years, 50 years later, I mean 50 years back from now, there might be 5, maybe even 10% of populace using these. But the same amount of years going back, 90% of populace would have been using all of these. In case you don't know what this is an axe. It's for chopping wood. I try to use it on a daily basis, not that I have to. Yes, I do have a fireplace, but I do it because I enjoy it. Using something, using whatever it is. Now, this, for example, here, is a pick. It's for picking ground, especially if the ground is hard and you have to dig a trench. And I've seen a comment on my estate group not so long ago where people were saying, don't those guys digging the trenches there have a supervisor? Have you seen them just leaning against those picks and just doing nothing? We're just paying them for nothing. Well, try it. Get one of these and swing it into hard soil 10 times. Just 10 times. And see whether you will be able to do another 5. Like somebody will tell you, how many push-ups can you do? I can do 5, I can do 10, I can do 20. If you can do 20 and 20 is your maximum, can you then go and do another 20? No! Now if you swing this 10, 15 times, it takes everything out of you. 90% of populace 40, 50 years ago would be utilizing these type of equipment. How long? The whole freaking day. Because if you didn't do anything, you wouldn't have anything. Fields. 90% of populace 70, 80, 90 years ago, all over Europe, were still farming. You know what this is? This is for trimming trees, the high branches. Again, try to do it for 15 minutes. If you're not used to that type of activity, holding your arms up for 15 minutes, I dare you. Go in your bedroom, switch on a music, any kind of music that you like, and start dancing. Start dancing 10, 15 minutes and hold your arms up. Without the equipment, just hold them up and groove it. See how long will you be able to hold those arms up. Do you know why you can't do those things? Why you can't do those activities? Because you're a caveman. You're a type of caveman that sleeps in a cave, wakes up, goes into another cave called kitchen, make tea, coffee, go into another cave called lounge or whatever, drink, eat, wait for 10 o'clock, eat again, wait for 1 o'clock, eat again, eat, feed the face. And if you need to get something, if you need to get sustenance, you go into your small cave called Motorcar, you drive into another cave called shopping mall. So what am I saying? I say use sticks. Use sticks, use any kind of sticks. This, for example, is my favorite stick. Every morning, grooving to the music, this is the one that I hold in my hands all day, all the time, whilst I am doing the dancing. See if you can do this. Hey? Why would I want to do that? Flexibility. You've got to have flexibility. And if you got one of these sticks, what is it about, 1 meter 20 in your arms, doesn't matter what moves you are doing whilst you are growing, the one arm cannot go too far without this arm holding it back so that you don't injure yourself. Doesn't matter what it is that you do with the sticks, whether you're pretending that you're crawling, whether swimming, crawling, that's what I mean. Whether you are doing whatever. My favorite, so as to confuse you even more, if I don't have my stick with me, and I just get hold of a broom. So sometimes I would pretend, you understand? I would pretend that this is a roller, a painter's roller, and I would come to the wall and I would paint the wall. I would paint and I would paint the ceiling and I would paint the side and I would be painting and I would be painting. And then after heavy breathing I rest a while and I would even check if I had done a good job. Anyway, grab it and paint, keep, so that again you got your arms up, again utilizing the stick, whatever stick. You want to just use it as for what it is, as a broom, well then sweep. There's nothing to sweep, doesn't matter. Sweep. Do something. Keep on the move. You got to do that, China. You got to do that. Otherwise, you start stiffening up. But I used to go to a gym, and I kid you not, there were guys that could not put their socks on. They had kind of equipment stick, where they would first put the sock onto that equipment, bring the sock with the equipment on the outstretched leg, put it on, struggle with it for 15 minutes just to get the sock on. Doesn't matter what age you are, you don't have to get to that point. But you got to work on it. You got to work on it just like that farmer 50 years ago had to work on it. Get up early in the morning, go and feed the livestock. Use the body constantly. Because if you don't, then do not be surprised that at the age of 50 or maybe even earlier, people see you walking around the block decrepit. You don't want that. You don't want to get to this type of equipment. Doesn't matter whether you funky painted or whatever, it's still the stick that you only want to end up with as a last resort. Don't allow that to happen to you. Work on it all day long. Like, for example, just making coffee in the morning. Whilst I'm waiting for that coffee to brew, I go onto one leg. I don't only go onto one leg, I do all kind of funny things. I pretend to be an aeroplane. Well, if I want to stick that leg out to the front, bend it, work with the ankle, do whatever on that one leg. Then change for 2 minutes and stand on the other one. If you have to go to the bank and you are standing in a queue, do the same thing. Stand on one leg. Why? Because you're strengthening these muscles. You're strengthening your core muscles. You're strengthening your back muscles. So that when you then get out of the car and there is a small pebble in the road and you step on the pebble and you wipe out and you break hips. You do not want to break hips. When you step into the shower and the slightest of slip or whatever, a movement and you wipe out, you don't want that. And the only way to prevent it is if you've got a strong core, if you've got the strong back muscles, if you've got strong hip muscles, all the muscles, every single one of them, ankles, this is strengthening. Try it. Try it and see whether you can stand this way for 2 minutes. If you can, you're good. If you can't, you're no good. Get it? No good. Don't do it that way. That's why you see Chinese, Japanese, they're on the square, going, doing their moves. One leg, very slowly, other one, and balancing. Wah, wah, ah.